The average new car in America just crossed $50,000 for the first time ever, and dealers are panicking because many of these trucks are collecting dust on their lots. Some of these are even the biggest names in the industry. One of them has already been discontinued, and you probably haven't heard about it yet. You will be shocked which iconic nameplate takes the #1 spot. Number 10, the Jeep Gladiator. This one's had a brutal stretch. Sales fell 33% in a recent quarter to under 9,000 units, and it's now down more than 25% for the year, sitting dead last in the entire mid-size truck segment with just a 6% market share, down 3 points from the year before. Starting at over $40,000, it's priced higher than most of its rivals, for a truck that can't match their towing or bed capacity. Compare that to the segment leader, which posted nearly 5 times the Gladiator's volume in the same quarter. Jeep owners genuinely love modifying these trucks. The aftermarket support is some of the strongest in the segment, but that enthusiasm from existing owners hasn't translated into new buyers walking onto the lot. A loyal fan base can keep a nameplate alive. It can't hide a sales chart heading in the wrong direction. Number 9. The Hyundai Santa Cruz. Hyundai bet on a smaller, more efficient alternative to full-size trucks, and buyers didn't bite. It sold around 25,000 units in a recent year, compared to over 150,000 for the Ford Maverick in the same segment, roughly 6 times the volume on a nearly identical concept. The Santa Cruz landed in an awkward middle ground, too expensive to be the budget option, too small to compete with real trucks, and without a clear identity to hang on to in a crowded market. Hyundai has now confirmed it is discontinuing the Santa Cruz entirely, leaving the Maverick as the only compact truck left on the market. When a manufacturer walks away from a segment entirely, rather than trying to fix the formula, that tells you everything about how the internal numbers actually looked. Number 8. The GMC Hummer EV pickup. GMC brought back one of the most iconic names in automotive history and turned it into a nearly 6-figure electric truck. It's genuinely impressive engineering, insane power, real off-road capability, technology that turns heads in any parking lot. But the price puts it in direct competition with luxury SUVs and high-end sports cars, and the pool of buyers willing to spend that kind of money specifically on a truck is small. At over 9,000 pounds, nearly double a comparable gas truck, it also raises real concerns about tire wear, brake wear, and the damage that kind of weight does to roads over time. Dealers report plenty of foot traffic and plenty of photos taken next to it. Actual signed contracts are a different story. Attention doesn't equal sales, and dealers holding this inventory know it better than anyone. Number 7. The Rivian R1T. Early hype was enormous. Deposits taken sight unseen. Waiting lists stretching for months before a single unit reached a driveway. Reality has been considerably rougher. Quarterly deliveries have fallen well below 1,000 units in recent reporting, down sharply year over year. And Rivian has had to pause production entirely during parts of this stretch just to manage inventory and cash. It's an impressive piece of engineering with a genuinely devoted following, the kind of owners who post detailed reviews and defend the brand online. But that following isn't nearly large enough to move meaningful volume against the pickups people actually cross-shop against it. Number 6. The Honda Ridgeline. Honda's the only brand building a unibody truck in this segment, and it shows up directly in the price. Over $40,000 to start, more expensive than both the Ford Ranger and the Nissan Frontier. What you get for that premium is a truck that can't tow or off-road the way its body-on-frame rivals can, since the unibody design that makes it ride more like a car also caps what it can realistically do as a work truck. Quarterly sales sit around 11,000 units, consistently near the bottom of the segment, without the dramatic collapse of some of the others on this list. but without ever really breaking out either. It's the truck equivalent of treading water while the rest of the segment moves forward. Number 5. The Ram 1500. This one surprises people because Ram has built a real reputation for the most comfortable, most luxurious interiors in the segment, and sales have historically been strong, but reliability complaints keep piling up. Electrical gremlins, rough or hesitant transmission shifts under normal acceleration, dashboard warning lights appearing within months of ownership rather than years. Combine that with trims now stretching past $80,000, territory that used to belong exclusively to luxury vehicles. And buyers who used to trust the badge without a second thought are now reading owner forums and asking harder questions before they sign anything. This channel breaks down what is actually happening under the hood before the recall notice shows up in your mailbox. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Number 4. Ford's F-150 high trim models. The F-150 is still America's best-selling truck by a wide margin, and it isn't going anywhere. But even it isn't immune to what's happening at the top of the market. Loaded Limited and Platinum trims now push toward $90,000, and with interest rates still elevated well above where they sat a few years ago, monthly payments on those trims can clear $1,200 without much difficulty. Base and mid-level trucks still move fine. Dealers aren't worried about those. It's specifically the luxury end, sitting on lots far longer than expected, pushing buyers to either step down a trim level to something they can actually justify, or walk away from the F-150 badge entirely for something cheaper. Number 3. The Tesla Cybertruck. This is where it gets genuinely brutal. Musk once projected 250,000 units a year once production ramped. The truck's worst quarter yet landed at roughly 3,500 units, its lowest number since launch, and it's already drawn public comparisons in the press to the Ford Edsel, industry shorthand for a flagship vehicle that completely misread its market. Multiple recalls within its first 13 months, covering everything from wiper failures to detaching trim pieces to structural concerns, reinforced the sense that early buyers were paying flagship prices for what amounted to beta test reliability. It still technically leads the electric truck segment by volume, ahead of the Lightning, the R1T, and GM's electric pickups combined, but only because every other electric truck on this list is struggling even harder than it is. Leading a shrinking category isn't the same thing as winning. Number 2, and this is the one that should genuinely surprise you, the Ford F-150 Lightning. Ford's own electric pickup, once the truck expected to bring electric vehicles into the mainstream for buyers who would never consider a Tesla, has been discontinued. What is technically still selling right now is leftover dealer inventory being worked through, not new production coming down a line. Sales had already dropped by more than 70% in a single month before the plug got pulled entirely on new builds. The charging infrastructure wasn't where it needed to be for truck owners who tow regularly. The real-world range didn't match towing expectations set by the marketing, and buyers who genuinely wanted an electric truck increasingly looked elsewhere, rather than waiting for Ford to sort it out. A flagship electric truck from the best-selling truck brand in the entire country, quietly discontinued, and most buyers browsing lots right now don't even know it happened yet. Number 1, and this is the name you genuinely wouldn't expect to see here, the Toyota Tundra 2022 through 2024 generation. For decades, Toyota's entire reputation in this market was built on legendary reliability, engines that ran for hundreds of thousands of miles with nothing more than basic maintenance. Then they replaced the old V8 with a twin-turbo V6, and it's now been through 3 separate recalls since 2024, covering well over 250,000 trucks, all for the exact same underlying defect. Owners are reporting knocking sounds at under 20,000 miles, essentially brand new, on trucks priced well into the $60,000 and $70,000 range. Toyota will likely resolve this eventually. They usually do. Their track record on fixing problems long-term is still better than most of the industry. But right now, in this exact moment, the one brand people trusted blindly for decades is the one buyers are hesitating on the most. In this market, doubt kills sales faster than price ever could. Drop a comment with which one of these surprised you the most, and whether you would still buy one anyway.